Hey guys, thanks for joining me right back here in the craft room for my next video. I am recording a couple of videos in a row here, so it is exactly the same pretty much as in the previous video, but that's okay. That's the way it goes some nights. I wanted to show you a couple of hats that I have been working on. One of them is knit on knitting needles, which is still in the works, and the other one is knit on the addi the other night. Last night, my note would have been Sunday night. But I knit this up. This is some, I've already put the yarn in my scrap bucket. But this is a blue yarn, and it's kind of got a crinkle to it, if you know what I mean. And it does have a sparkle. I don't know if you can see that sparkle. And this is how it turned out. I did have a few issues with this on addi, but they were up near the top of the hat, and I wasn't going to worry about them. I did drop a few stitches. Like right there's one spot. If you can see that, there's a big old, well, you can't really. But anyway, there's a big old gap there. But it caught fine afterwards. And then there's, like, they're right next to each other. A couple of them right next to each other. But I just tucked that on the inside, and we will not even mention it that it happened. The other thing I did when I was putting it together, taking my stitches off of the machine, I actually dropped a couple of stitches. So I just went down a couple rows. I dropped 2 rows. So I just picked up the loop 2 rows down and pulled it in, and then tucked in those extra pieces down in the middle when I gathered my top together. So this one had some issues, but I think it turned out really cool and pretty nice and sparkly. It is, even though it is a size 4 yarn, I'm pretty sure it does appear to be a thinner type hat. So I will add this to my bucket of finished hats, and so far all of them that I have shown you that have gone in my bucket have been done on my addi this year. Well, so far since I did my last donation. The other hat that I've been working on, which if you've watched some previous videos, you know that I started a shawl with this Team Stripes yarn. Is that what it's called? Team Spirit yarn. This is a red white, and I just was not liking the striping, the way it was going from the corner and getting bigger. I did not like the way it was striping, and some of you also agreed with me about that. Then I decided that I was going to knit it on regular knitting needles. Well, at this point, the hat's okay. It's not really what I was expecting. That's one of the exciting parts for me for actual knitting on knitting needles, and with the addi for that matter, seeing how striped yarn or, you know, ombres or whatever style come out with knitting, because as I've mentioned before, I believe that yarn manufacturers create yarn with knitters in mind, because you lose so many of those fine details a lot of times with crochet. So at this point, I think, because I was expecting these stripes to be a lot wider, but these are actually 6 rows worth, so they're about an inch tall, and I was expecting more like 1.5 inches, 2 inches. So I'm going from Conehead hat, which I showed you of several videos back. The hat, the way I did it was just too small. It would not even go on my head. To, where's Waldo? This is definitely going to be a Waldo hat. You know, it's like I said, my stripes are about 1 inch tall. That's just the way it's striping. And I do like this little fluff of white on the very bottom of the hat. I think it gives this character. So I am looking forward to working on this a little more. I have been using the continental method, which what I do is I have to wrap twice around my little pinky. This is the way I normally hold my yarn for crochet anyway, so it does make it a little faster than the way I normally do it. But I wrap my yarn like this. Well, anyway. And then I always know that my yarn, when it gets going, it'll be over here. Actually, it goes this way. Silly me. Because the yarn always comes from the right to my left hand. But anyway, that's what I do. I have to wrap it around my pinky twice for tension, or I have so loosey-goosey stitches, it's not even, it's crazy. But so far, this is working out really well. It's not too super loose, and it's not too super tight. So I'm looking forward to working on this and finishing it up and showing you guys how it comes out. So I want to thank you guys for joining me here in the craft room and seeing my finished hat and my hat that is in progress. And if you haven't, make sure you go check out my Thankfulness Challenge video. I will make sure and put a link to that down in the description box below for you. And I will see you right back here in the craft room for my next video.